I love the little "this meeting's being recorded" voice line. Anyways, guys, this is Alex. Obviously, I think you guys know I'm the CEO of HYROS, so I'm not going to do a formal introduction. Long story short, what I want to do with these live streams, we're going to be doing every week, and I think we're going to be doing it multiple times a week. We might get to the point where we're doing them every day. Of course, I won't be doing every single one of those. I might do like one a week. But the goal of this is to basically allow us to all come in here. I'm going to teach some things, show off some cool features in HYROS, show you how I use HYROS and how I look at the stats and how I know other people look at the stats. And then you guys can ask Q&A. Every week, I'm going to try and teach something new, some new feature you can use in HYROS to get really good results with it. That also being said, if you guys just have general questions about HYROS, I want to answer these two at the same time. So we'll probably do like 10, 15 minutes of training, and you guys can ask me questions. And if you want to know anything about the ad industry or what's going on in ads, we can do as well. But this is to help you get better success with HYROS and use its features to the max, because I think a lot of people don't use HYROS in all the ways they can. So very cool stuff. We got like 34 people on, which is actually more than I expected. And what I'm actually going to do right now is we're going to share my screen. And I just have a really simple lesson today for you guys, because when I see people using HYROS, let's go share my screen and make sure everybody can see this properly. Okay. So everybody putting in chats and whatnot, I can see everybody posting it in. Can you sense the recording? It'll be posted in the group, all that kind of stuff. I'll be addressing questions here in a second because I have a pretty short lesson today, guys. Okay. So look, I want to talk about using the extension with scientific mode, and I want to talk about just reading your basic stats. So what I see people try and do when they use HYROS when they come in is they try to overcomplicate everything because they think now that you have tracking, you have to do something different. And the point of this video right here, guys, is that you really don't have to get 80% of the results with HYROS. Yes, there's an LTV section. There's different attribution models. You can go and see all sorts of advanced data. You can see things from the first click. You can see your LTV. But if you want to get really good results, using HYROS to get results is as simple as this. In Facebook, in Google, in almost every business model, unless you have a very, 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 very short click to sale time, you're not going to see your sales. Okay. And so if you're operating around data that is on, let me actually pause this real quick. On Facebook and Google, let me go load up this doodle board that I have right here. I'm sure you guys have seen this one before. What is it doing? One sec. I don't know why they changed this up. Okay. And resume share. So look, there's two things that are going to happen with Facebook and Google when you're doing this. And this applies to any ad platform out there. First off, you're just going to purely miss sales. Okay. So miss sales, first and foremost, that's going to get you in trouble. But on top of that, guys, you're also going to get over-reported or wrongly assigned sales. All right. So what does this mean? Okay. Well, there's two things. First off, Google and Facebook love to give each other view through conversions. You should be operating off last click on these platforms. One day last click, that's the most accurate because they're going to attribute sales to themselves as many as they can, so you spend more. Okay. If you see profitable ads, you spend more money. Now, I'm not saying Google or Facebook are out to scam you, and I'll talk about their tracking and whatnot here in a second. It's great for what it is. But it's a one-size-fits-all tracking. It doesn't plug into every other aspect of your business. So where does over-reporting come in at? All right, so let's say you got a YouTube channel. Let's say you got people going just to Google and searching for you. And then let's say you got ads running on Google as well as Facebook, and maybe you got some TikTok ads right here. All right, so because Facebook and Google and all these other places don't talk to each other, what's going to happen when it comes over reporting is, well, Facebook's going to take credit for the sale, Google's going to take credit for the sale, and you're not even going to see credit going right here when you need to, because what's going to happen is if Google and Facebook are saying that they got this sale, both of them are saying that, and you can't verify it because it's a black box, you're going to be putting a lot of money into ads that aren't actually generating the sale when it might be coming from search, it might be coming from Google, it might be coming from TikTok, it might be coming from a whole range of places. This is 99% of where you're going to get in trouble with in ads, because if you have missed sales, you're going to turn off ads that are actually profitable. And if you have over reporting, you're going to crank up ads that are actually not profitable. This is the most basic thing HYROS does. Okay. And when you have this right here, well, look, if you're overspending right here, let's imagine we're trying to scale an ad campaign and we need a 50% profit margin to scale. Okay. Well, if you're overspending right here, I'm going to show you some examples right here. You're going to lose 15 to 20% of your ad spend just in waste. Okay. The ad campaigns that aren't nearly as profitable as they should be. And if you turn off ad campaigns right here, let's say 20% of your campaigns are missing sales or aren't as profitable or reporting as profitable as they actually should be, you're going to turn off probably, I don't know, 15 to 20% of your potential scale, right? This is going to take you, let's say you're riding just barely on the skin of your teeth at a 50% profit margin. Well, this is going to take you down to a 10 to 20% profit margin. Okay? Most people aren't comfortable scaling at these margins. When, if you just fix the overspending, you fix the scaling issue right here, congratulations, you're at a 50% profit margin you can scale. This can actually take your business to whole new levels. You can scale much, much further if you have a 50% profit margin. If you have an e-com store and you have a 50% profit margin, you're on fire, okay? I scaled one of my campaigns, one of my info campaigns to $25,000 a day on just a 20% same day profit margin. Okay. If I didn't have this data right here, or as I was working with over reporting and missed sales, I wouldn't have that profit margin. I'd have to start scaling back. As soon as you start doing that, you lose money. So let's look at how this is kind of demonstrated in HYROS. So it's actually extremely simple. Okay. So we're looking at a webinar funnel right here, and in e-commerce, what's going to happen, and again, everybody hopping in right now, I'm going to take questions here, probably 5 minutes. Okay, this is a very short lesson, but I just want to knock this one out for you. So look, this is a webinar funnel that has a long click to sale time. So the missed sales are way more apparent in this funnel than it would be, for example, an e-commerce store. E-commerce stores suffer from over-reporting and probably like 20% of missed sales. If you have an info funnel, a sales call funnel, you're dealing with massive amounts of missed sales. But you can see right here, let's just look at the profits that are reported in Google in this example versus what actually came in. All right. So look at this ad set right here. All right. I'm spending, this is 1 day of ad spend right here. Okay. And Google reported in their ad manager, their total reported was $11,000 in sales. So if I'm looking at this data right here, it tells me that I broke even for the day. All right. It told me that I had a 0% profit margin, pretty much. What would you do in this instance with your ads? I'd tell you what I would do. I'd turn the ads off, or I'd start lowering them down until I start seeing a better profit margin I'm comfortable with. Even at this base margin right here, even if I know I'm profitable, I'm going to have to start guessing which ads are generating me sales. If I'm guessing which ads are generating me sales, I'm naturally going to spend money on ads that aren't profitable. Can everybody just give me a 1 if that makes sense in chat? Just give me a 1 if you're tracking with what I'm saying. You know, this isn't rocket science. Okay. And that's the thing I'm trying to make clear right here. Because if you look in the group, you look in our customer support tickets, I used to read every single customer support ticket. I still skim through and read a lot of the tickets coming in and answer support from time to time. But I talk to our agents constantly. And the main thing I see that people have trouble with is they're trying to reinvent the wheel here. They're trying to think, okay, now that I got this advanced tracking solution, I have to do advanced complicated things. There's nothing further from the truth. The secret is right here. Is my total track cost was $11,000 and I did $25,000 in sales in reality. Really all I need to do at the base level to make myself immensely more profitable is just read the data and turn my ads on and off based on that. That's all I have to do. It's the same thing you would do if you're running your ads normally. There's no change in your behavior to get the base level results for HYROS, which are enough to justify the software 200 times over. So I'm going to come down here and say, okay, cool. I got actually $25,000 in sales. All I need to do at this point is scale up the campaigns that are profitable and turn off the ones that are actually not generating sales, since I don't have to guess at this shit anymore. Okay. So let's go down and look at this. All right. We got this campaign right here. Let's focus on a scaling problem first off. This one right here is targeting the keyword, literally online business. And I'm spending $300 a day on this campaign on YouTube. Okay. Google reported that there was no sales. So what would you do if you were spending $9,000 a month on a campaign that was not generating any sales? They turn that off like that. That's $100,000 wasted a year, right? Well, this campaign right here for $300 generated a $2,000 sale that Google completely missed because it's not going to track webinars. It's not going to track your sales call conversions, and it's probably going to wrongly assign your e-commerce sales or just miss them completely, okay? And if you go on our training channel, I break down this same exact problem. I'll post it below this replay in the group. I show the same exact problem on the e-commerce store. Okay. That's a client account that gave us permission to share. So I don't want to share it live on this webinar. I want to share the account right there because there's a few of his sensitive details that we blocked out for him. Okay. He let us use this account. It's a really good example. But you can see right here, I'm generating $1,600 a day in profit from this campaign right here in theory. Okay, at least probably $500 to $1,000 a day if we stretch this out over 30 days. If I turn off this campaign right here, okay, and I'm making $25,000 a day, okay, this revenue right here goes down to $22,000 a day or $23,000 a day. Okay, or let's just round up the numbers here, guys, because I'm not going to do math very well in the stream. Let's just round it up to that's a $2,000 profit ad per day. All right, it's that 1,600, but just I'm going to round stuff up so it's easier for us to talk about. This would take my total sales down to $2,200 a day or $2,300 a day. That's $60,000 a month, just gone. That's ridiculous. That's literally almost 10% of my profit, or literally 20% of my profits in this case, 10% of my revenue gone like that, just because I didn't see a sale coming in. Okay, same thing comes down to right here. All right, if we want to go look at this campaign right here, all right, let's see what it reported in Google actually. Where did it report? All right, so here's one right here where Google reported way more sales coming in. All right, so to sign another sale on top of this, I actually lost $1,000 this day on this campaign. Okay. Or actually right here, not report versus revenue, it was reporting $1,000 more than was actually coming in. Now, this was still immensely profitable. This was still immensely profitable at $200 a day spend, but I need to be aware of this, okay? Because at this point right here, I could make another mistake. I could come in here and I've only made $700, $800 profit, not $2,000 profit. I shouldn't be scaling it the same exact way. Now, if I come in here again, let's find one where it just reported a sale where there was no sale. Okay, cool. So here's one right here. Actually, no, I'm trying to find a campaign where I wasn't profitable. Okay. Is there any campaigns where I wasn't profitable on this? This was a really good day. Okay, cool. Let's just look at this one right here. This is a really, really good example. So on this day right here, let's imagine it reports just a little bit more sales right here. On this day right here, I spent $617 and Google went and reported $272 in sales. Okay. There was no $272 in sales. Let's imagine in this example right here was actually a $2,000 sale. So Google went and put this in the completely wrong place. What would I do right here if this was a $2,000 sale? I would crack this up to like, I don't know, $800 a day, $1,000 a day. Just like that, I'm wasting literally $15,000 a month on an unprofitable ad. So then boom, another 10, 20% of my profit margin gone like that. Okay. And so you're going to see these two things in your ad account more often than not. These are the main things you need to be using HYROS for. If I come in here and look at this one right here, again, I had a $2,000 sale. Google reported I only had $75 in sales. I'm literally making $1,600 profit right here again from this ad campaign right here when I'm only spending $309 a day. Okay. You can see that just coming in. If I turn off this ad campaign right here, just these two ad campaigns, I'm not even digging through the entire ad account. I just lowered my daily revenue from $25,000 a day, almost to $20,000 a day. I just took my ad ROI from 2.5x to 2x. Okay. I just lost, I'm making about $15,000 a day right here, profit on this campaign right here. If I were to turn off those campaigns right there, I just cut off literally 30% of my profit margin in one day. In one day, just from misreading two campaigns. That's what you need to focus on in your account. You can stretch out the sales also if you have an e-commerce store or more smaller sales coming in and see the combined effect over 7 days, 14 days. By making those little tiny judgment errors and not using actual stats instead of your real stats, or using the unproven stats that are in the Google Ad Manager and Facebook Ad Manager, by using these stats that are a black box that you can't verify for the first place, on top of that, that aren't all there if you have long click to sales times, you're going to make those mistakes and you're suddenly going to cut off 30% of your profit margin like this. Or let's imagine I was just testing this campaign, because you can see campaigns right here. I'm only at $300 a day ad spend. You can see there's other ones where I'm at 600, 1,000. Let's say I'm slowly starting to start up this campaign. And this campaign right here, I'm just starting to test. Okay, it gets this sale in here. Amazing, awesome. But if I don't see that in the ad manager, I'm going to turn off this test campaign, and I could be turning off a campaign. I could have scaled to $1,000 per day, and I could have taken my overall daily profit from $15,000 a day, maybe to $20,000 a day from one campaign, one decision. Turning off campaigns based on wrong data will kill your scale. It will get you investing in ads that aren't making you money actually, and it will cause you to kill test campaigns that are massively profitable that you don't see. That's the most important thing you should use HYROS for. When I was developing my webinars or scaling info products or working on what we initially were that I designed HYROS for myself, this was the problem I was trying to solve, because in my ad manager, I couldn't see which campaigns were generating the sales. So I had to scale everything all at once and guess and look at past data that wasn't conclusive, because I'm missing 50%, 30%, 40% of my sales. Even if I'm missing 30% of my sales, if one of those sales is on a test campaign, wow, I just turn off a test campaign that's generating me an F ton of money. Okay. And so that's the first lesson I wanted to get into today, guys. That's really the basis of HYROS. If you actually just dumb this down and don't think too much about it, you're going to see the base stats and you're going to be able to read them. And you could actually just stop there. You could not go into any advanced features in HYROS. You could not look at LTV. You could not look at first seen. Okay. The other lesson I want to give you guys very quickly is a lot of people have trouble making really strong data-backed decisions with their scale and HYROS. Okay, and this pertains also to call funnels. And so I want to show you one final tip that I use a lot before we get to Q&A. So maybe the most important feature in HYROS, besides what I just showed you for simplifying your thought process, is scientific mode. Because here's what absolutely wrecks people when it comes to their ads. Okay, so let's imagine a person right here goes and makes their first click on your Facebook ad. Okay. And let's imagine this is a 5-day time span right here. Okay, so this is 5 days spread apart right here. Can everybody see this? Okay, give me one if you can see this quickly. All right. Okay, cool. So let's imagine this is a 5-day time frame right here. Again, I'll get the questions here in 1 second. So over this 5-day time frame, what scientific mode is going to do is if the sale occurs in this time frame, it's going to go to the first click. If it doesn't occur in this time frame, out here, it's going to go, let's say the last click is somewhere like out here outside the time frame. It's going to go here. So why is this important? So let's imagine a person clicks your Facebook ad, and then a person goes and clicks your Google search ad 40 minutes later. Okay? Maybe they go and click another ad, a Tic Tac ad, let's say the next day, the next morning, because it's a retargeting ad. Who do you want to get the sale here? Which click has the most to do with the sales? It's the Facebook ad. Okay. Now, what a lot of people get confused on is they want to like disperse sales through all these clicks right here. That's going to make you an insane person. It doesn't work. It's confusing because this pattern right here probably isn't going to have enough repetitions or people repeating that pattern to make any conclusive data. What you can conclude is customers are coming from this, especially if you're looking at scientific mode across your entire business. Okay. And you're going to see patterns like people click your Facebook ad and then maybe click a Google search ad. You really don't want to be scaling that Google search ad. You want to be scaling this ad. Now, on the flip side, let's imagine a person comes through and clicks this Facebook ad and then 6 days later clicks one of your Google YouTube ads. Okay. And then gets a sale right here. You don't want this Facebook ad to be getting the sale. You don't know if this even had any impact on it. Say a person clicks your e-commerce store, looks at it for 2 seconds, and then bounces off the page. Okay? Wasn't even interested. You really don't want that Facebook ad getting credit. You don't want to be scaling up that ad, for lack of better words. That's the most base of it. You don't want to be scaling up that ad. You want to be scaling up this YouTube ad, especially if it's not a retargeting ad. That's the thing you want to be scaling. And so I want to show you this live in the account. Okay, one of my accounts. Let's go look at right here. All right, so this is a really, really crystal clear example. So I'm using the Chrome extension right here. And what I can see is based on last click and in scientific mode, our search ads right here are starting a lot of sales. Okay, so a ton of people are searching for HYROS and then they're clicking our other ads. They're clicking our retargeting ads. They're going through our other content, probably Facebook and YouTube ads because they're on lookalike audiences or retargeting ads or something. And then they're going to those. So based on this number right here, let's imagine this report's unprofitable. This last click right here, I'm only looking at last click, which would be, I can turn this off very quickly inside of, and you can see Google's just giving itself all sorts of conversions that aren't there. Like these conversions are not happening on Google. It's considering everybody that looks at this it's giving itself literally every conversion it can possibly imagine. So this is bonkers right here. This makes no sense. That being said, let's imagine this last click metric right here isn't all that impressive. If I were to turn this ad off, what a giant effing mistake, because if we're looking at first or scientific mode, tons of sales are starting on this ad. So what I like to do is, instead of trying to disperse things across all these clicks in the business, I want to look at the last click and the first click. And I want to look at the time frame between the first click and the last click. This is actually an attribution model that Sam Ovens helped me develop. Now, I'm not saying Sam Ovens supports HYROS or is testifying for I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is what most people I know that have a lot of success with webinar funnels and call funnels are using, and is also extremely relevant to your e-commerce stores. We could see the opposite happening. We could see our search ads getting tons of last clicks, but very few first clicks, okay, that happen within the time frame. So we could end up scaling our search ads when they're really not responsible for that many sales. Okay? But in this case right here, tons of sales are starting on our search, and within a short time frame, completing sales by clicking somewhere else. We want to keep scaling this up and increasing this. Okay, and we can also see it's generating some last click sales as well. But overall, scientific mode is showing me that this ad is extremely relevant to sales, because within 5 days or 15 days or whatever I set scientific to, it's showing that. So when I make decisions, I like to look at scientific mode and last click mode at the same exact time, which is what you have in extension. Okay, so this is what I'll use to make decisions off of as well. Okay, because a lot of times you might have a lot of ads that are not getting the last click, but they're definitely getting the first click in the first couple days of the sale, or with even 24 hours. It's very common for a person to click an e-commerce ad and then go through one of your retargeting ads. Well, you really want that first ad to be getting the click if that retargeting click happened in the first 24 hours. You really don't want to be crediting that retargeting ad, because that retargeting ad is going to get the sales whether you scale it or not. Okay, so those are two general lessons I wanted to share with you guys today. As far as HYROS goes, I'm going to go and field some general questions now, and next week we're going to be talking about more so LTV marketing and long-term and first seen and first click, and some of the more long-term strategic moves you can make in HYROS. But let me go and actually stop this share my face, and I'll go and get in some chats, whatever questions you guys have. Okay. Now, guys, before you start throwing questions in, I would strongly appreciate if you keep your questions to maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Okay. If you guys post a long paragraph or a book, it's extremely difficult for me to read and extract the question. And if you do that, I love you. I'm probably going to ignore the question. Okay. So please try and keep it to 1 or 2 questions. And I will field some questions here for 20 minutes. You guys want to talk about ads? Want to talk about HYROS? We should go in there. What date range should we be using to optimize campaigns? You want to look at what you guys need to do with your ads is you need to stop looking for one source of truth, because it doesn't exist. Okay. What happens within 14 days and within 1 day is relevant. Okay. So obviously what happens within 24 hours of the ad is just as relevant as what happens after 14 days. And my best advice for you is you want to look at your ads and the trends from multiple angles. So over 14 days, I'm going to look at the overall sales, the overall numbers. I'm also going to look at 1 day. I'm also going to look at 7 days. I'm going to look at last click. I'm going to look at scientific mode. I'm going to see if there's anything that sticks out. I'm going to say, what is the overall picture of my business? What ads are making money over time? And what is the trend I'm seeing? So for example, at HYROS, I see people routinely book calls and not buy in the first month of clicking. So I really don't look at the first week ROI in my ads at all. I'm going to look at maybe the ROI on an ad after 45 days using LTV mode and other metrics out there. Okay. If you have a webinar funnel, you probably don't want to be looking at the 1 day ROI, but you as your final source of truth. You want to look at the 1 day ROI in terms of, hey, how much money do I make back and take back in every single day? All right, how much money can I expect to make back in 1 day? Then you want to probably look at the 3 to 4 day ROI on, all right, after the completion of the email funnel and whatnot, how much money am I making then? And you want to balance that together. So of course, if you're losing 50% of if you're losing 50% on the first 24 hours, that's really relevant. But if you're making it back 3-4 days later and your 4 day ROI is there, that's relevant too. Okay. So then what you also want to do is when you're looking at your campaigns, obviously looking at campaigns over 14 days overall as a larger time span is going to give you a more accurate picture of what's going on. That doesn't exclude a one-day picture as well. And so you want to look at multiple different angles of things and use that to decide what you're going to do. Okay. Overall, though, the longer your time span, the better results you're going to get when making decisions. I really wouldn't stretch it out more than 30 days, though, because things can change from one month to another. So I'm usually going to look at a 7-day or 14-day when making big, broad, sweeping decisions. But you can also look at 1 day and 1 day from different angles in scientific mode, and also scientific mode in 14 days to also make decisions as well. If I see something polar opposite, this behaving complete, it's like, for example, here's where it's in context. Let's say we're looking at a 1-day or a 2-day ROI in our ads. Okay, we're looking at that time span. And our ads are just massively unprofitable. They just suck. But over 14 days, we're doing a 7x ROI. What are we going to deduce from that? This is a bad day. Overall, we're still really up. We shouldn't turn off these ads. You have to look at things in context instead of making black and white rules. How is HYROS different from the Facebook pixel? It's quite simple. The Facebook pixel is not giving you all your sales. It's either assigning them in the wrong place or you're not seeing all your sales coming in the Facebook. It's the same problem you're already having. Okay. So let's say you have 10 sales come into your business and Facebook catches 7 of them. Obviously, if you get all 10 of those sales attributed to the right ads, you're going to get better data and more accurate attribution. Simply because 1, you have more touch points to focus on for the AIs. And 2, let's imagine those 3 customers that were not caught. That's going to go into Facebook as people that aren't your customers. And so Facebook's going to de-optimize for those people. That's it. Now, again, with the Facebook pixel and the HYROS pixels, and you can also just feed this data to your current pixel as well, this is going to increase your ad ROI by 10% tops, okay? And what I see a lot of times people do in HYROS, 10 to 15%. Is that useful? Extremely, extremely. However, what I see a lot of people do is they get so lost in trying to AI optimize in these fine little details that they miss the lesson that I just laid out there, which is going to potentially increase your business by 50 to 100%. I've seen it many times. So my best advice to you is if you're having a little trouble with that, you're getting a little confused, make sure you have the basics of HYROS down first. Make sure you have the basics of HYROS down first. Instead of doing the most complicated thing, do the most basic thing and get those really good results first. Then start optimizing around the AI. That's my advice for you. Are you familiar with how Facebook ads is working on Kickstarter? How is HYROS helping marketplaces if you need to run ads to under 1%? It's not designed for that at all. If you're running stuff on marketplaces or you're doing affiliate stuff, HYROS isn't designed to help you. All right, so you shouldn't use HYROS. Will HYROS track my YouTube discovery link and turn into sales if you paste a source link on that? So you'd want to go and grab the source link from HYROS and then post that on your YouTube discovery links. That can get a little bit hairy because you have all the ads going to the same YouTube discovery link though. So it can get a little bit screwy. So Cole says, how are you scaling based on the data, HYROS data? The same way I'd scale if I was using ad manager data. If ads are profitable, you scale them up. The way you want to scale ads to $100, $250, $500,000 a day, it's very simple, okay? If you're below $500 a day, like $250 a day, $100 a day, increasing ad spend by 100% is not going to blow up your account because $100 a day to $200 a day in ad spend is nothing, okay? It's nothing. You probably, in that case, probably want to go to 100 to 150. But I've just gone and increased campaigns from 250 to 500. I've increased campaigns from 100 to 200 all the time. Now, when we're past $500 a day, usually you don't want to increase more than 50% in a day. So for example, if we're at $500 a day, we don't want to go to $1,000 a day. It's a little excessive. Same rule starts apply at $1,000 a day. We want to start increasing by 25% to keep it safe. We don't want to go and bust this mother to $2,000 a day. And the way you scale is you need to realize what people think in their ad accounts. And guys, I I don't go and look in people's ad accounts and be like, so what's working over here? But I've seen enough damn ad accounts to be able to tell you with complete confidence that there's so many things that people throw around in in the ad space that are complete hoopla and superstition. It's blows my mind how bogus and stupid some of these rain dance things people believe are. If the thing that blows up your account when you increase your ad spend is not the targeting going bonkers or the Facebook gods getting mad at you, it's the fact that you've increased your ad to a point where the range of who you're targeting is not accurate anymore. Okay. And so if you go from $1,000 to $2,000 a day, the audience and the broadness of the audience you're targeting is dramatically different. You go from targeting people that are very, very close or very, very relevant to the ad to Facebook and Google having to really push out the dimensions and breadth of who you're going to target. When you do that, of course, your ads are going to become more inaccurate. It's your ads going broader. It's not your targeting pixel losing its damn mind. Okay. And so there's a lot of times when I've had campaigns where I can just bump from $1,000 a day to $2,000 a day without problem. The problem that occurs is when you go from that change in scale is that you're targeting really different people. And so your CPL can skyrocket. So how do you decide when not to scale up or down? It's very simple. You increase it by those general amounts so that you can detect blow-ups in your ad account. So if I go from, let's say, $1,000 to $1,250 a day, and I see my CPL, it's noon, and my CPL has gone from $5 to $12. Something's up. Lower it back down. Lower it down to $1,100 per day. See if that fixes it. Okay. Then if at $1,100 a day, it's looking good again, increase it to $1,200. Then increase it to $1,400. And you want to slowly kind of scale up from that point right there. And you're trying to gauge the point where your campaigns explode, not train the AI in some magic rain dance system to find you more customers. Because at some point, the reason why your ads fail is because people aren't interested in the ads. You're going into a broader market and people just aren't responding to them. It doesn't matter what the AI says. You've ran out of people that are interested. So for example, HCOM, the difference between me scaling an ad campaign to $200 a day to $2,000 a day wasn't the damn Facebook AI or some rain dance I did in my basement to make it work. The thing that allowed me to scale from $200 to $1,000 a day was better ads, better landing page, and a better offer. Okay, a better offer that customers were interested in and ads that customers were interested in. And that allowed me to talk to a broader audience, making the ads target broader audiences and speak to a broader audience. AKA, let's say, for example, in my info business, people that exclusively make Shopify stores to people that might be interested in building a business or people that haven't considered building a business. Changing the wordage of the ad is what allowed the ad to scale, not some magic scaling shit that people made up. It's all over these groups and ad places. So that's how you scale with that long-winded answer based on simple scaling, just 20, 30% a day. I gave you the exact metrics I'll look at. Use your own if you want to. And also what's going on and why your account's probably going to explode. Did you increase budgets on ad sets or duplicate them with budget increases? Again, Victor, I love you. Again, and guys, if I sound blunt when I talk about these things, this is just how I communicate normally as a person. I'm so delighted you're a HYROS customer, and I love the fact that you guys are here. So did you duplicate the ad campaigns and then increase the budget? This is more ad superstitious bullshit. The ad platforms are designed where you can increase the budget without duplicating them. That's some weird rain dance shit that some ad manager made out. And he saw some loose budget. And so he used confirmation bias to go and say, oh, this is what you need to do. Duplicating your campaigns and doing this stuff, you might see slightly better results. You might see slightly worse results. But what ad managers do is they like to overanalyze everything. And they love confirmation bias. So if they duplicate a campaign and they see better results, the first thing they say is, oh, duplicating campaigns gets you better results. That's what they're going to do instead of going and running a test hundreds of times or just actually going and increasing. Because sometimes when you increase a campaign inside the ad manager, you see good results as well. So people confirmation bias in their ad managers and then think, oh, it's like a guy who goes and puts on a cheese head and sits backwards in his chair when the Green Bay Packers are playing. And then because he was wearing his cheese head and eating cheese at the same time, he thinks that he can impact the score of the Packers game. It's the same thing with the AI. It's the same thing with all that. The thing that scales campaigns further is never this dumb shit. It is 100% the ad messaging and copywriting being designed to reach a broader market. That is what scales ads every single time and what kills ads every single time. So if you want to scale your ads further, look at the ads themselves and the market it's talking to and say, why when I get into a broader market or broader targeting, this does not work? For example, in info marketing, the reason why most people ads fail is because their ads are too specifically targeted towards a business owner when the business owner niche is very small. The amount of people that own profitable businesses is like 1% of people. So they run out of ad targeting like that, like at 100, 200 bucks a day. You change the verbiage of your ads to be like, hey, have you ever considered starting a business? Or, hey, I'm just going to show you a way to make money in general, regardless of who you are. Suddenly the ads will scale. Okay. And so that's the difference between an ad that scales. That's the thing that really defines it. For every single person that's gotten slightly better results duplicating ads, there's a freaking 1,000 people that have actually improved the ad messaging and targeting for a broader audience in the ads. And that's what's allowed them to scale. So if you want to know how to scale very effectively, it's all in the messaging of the ad and in responding to the data that comes back in the sales and ROI. Yeah. But that's what's going to make you scale. There's nothing you're going to ever do in the ad manager that's going to give you that much more scale. Okay. Once you have accurate data, it's all going to come down to the ad and the funnel. What's your top recommended book for learning badass copywriting? I don't have one. I think most copywriting books are stupid. That's just me being a rickety old man though. I'm sure there's fantastic copywriting books out there. Or maybe I've just internalized copywriting. I actually don't know what it is. I'm probably leaning towards the grumpy old man answer. I would watch the copywriting strategies that are on our training YouTube channel, the Becker of HYROS channel. I'm not the world's greatest copywriter, but what copywriting is essentially, in my opinion, and I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of copywriters who get upset about this. It's a framework for communication. It's a pattern of communication that is used for persuasion. And that pattern for persuasion is literally the same forever and ever and ever and ever. And the techniques you can use for persuasion are the same forever and ever and ever. It hasn't changed in 100 years. Okay. So for example, if you want to sell someone something, you need to make them be in pain in their current life situation. Then you need to show them a solution. And you need to show them that your form of that solution is the best possible and make them understand it. Then you sell them that solution in a push button way that is easy, that requires no effort on their own part. And that's how you get a sale. There's other things you can put in there. There's scarcity timers. There's certain things you can say on certain slides. That's really the whole entire basis of selling anything to anybody. Okay. And so if you can get that and you can use that framework, at that point, selling stuff to people isn't about copywriting. It's about understanding what they want. And a lot of people try to sell things that people don't want, and they think the solution to selling it is copywriting, when the solution is selling people stuff they don't want. For example, the copywriting for HYROS is not magnificent. It's pretty good. It's not magnificent. It's definitely not as in-depth as my info businesses, but HYROS makes far more money than my info businesses. Why? Because it works. And people want it, and people have a problem, and HYROS solves a very, very specific problem for people. So that's really a secret to copywriting. That's how you get sales. You don't focus on the copywriting first. What percentage of ad spend do you recommend for return customers for commerce? It's up to you and whatever's acceptable to you. If a 20% profit margin is cool with you, awesome. There's plenty of e-commerce businesses that run on that. Just totally what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. How do you deal with clients who don't want to use HYROS no matter how much you try and show the value in it? Quite easy. Turn off HYROS or track in the background with HYROS, and then show them how much money they lose by optimizing around the Google. Just go lose their money by optimizing what the Google Ad Manager is telling them. That's not great business. Look, if you're an agency, see, my knee-jerk dick answer is like, hey, that's your problem, man. But I understand, like, I want you guys to sell, you want to get people in the HYROS and whatnot. So you're just going to need to show, you're going to need to do the same exact thing we do at HYROS. Show them the amount of money that they're leaving on the table. Like, no, this will make you an extra $10,000 a month. If you don't let me use this, you're going to lose $10,000. That's like an extra $120,000 this year. I strongly don't suggest we do this. Okay. That's it. Or I would just do it out of pocket so you get better results and put it in the bill. Any other questions, guys? Can we get an option in the Chrome extension to ignore recurring sales? That goes live on Monday, Nathan. That goes live on Monday. So we listen. We see what you're thinking before you think it. Chris said, so back to scaling. So you're scaling based on last click. What I'm going to do 90% of times, Chris, is I'm just going to look at last click. Like there's a time when you just need to stop over analyzing things and just make decisions. And so what I'm going to do 90% of the time, I'm going to scale off a last click. Unless I see some strong difference between scientific mode's results and last click, then I'm going to look at it. So like right here, guys, let's just look at like these campaigns right here. Let's just look at like the last, I don't know. I wasn't really running much campaigns a lot. I turned off a lot of ads at HYROS because we're just so packed with customers. We don't need that many more. So this isn't the best example, but if I go and share my screen right here. All right. So what I'm going to do in this example right here is like, if I see scientific mode and last click mode lining up, I'm usually just going to scale off of last click. But if I see like a huge discrepancy between scientific mode and last click mode, I'm going to investigate that. And I'm going to say, all right, what's going on here? And then I'm going to start making separate decisions for that campaign. 9 out of 10 times, it depends on the business model, but 9 out of 10 times, last click is going to work just fine. Okay. Unless you see something interesting happening on the scientific mode. Okay. Now, again, there's other ways to scale using LTV. So for example, I know at HYROS that if a phone call is worth $1,500 to us over 6 months, okay, that person's gonna come back and buy over 6 months. So when I'm getting a $300 phone call right here, I can scale this up way further. Okay, I can scale this up way further, or just bowl into $500 cost per call. And I can use that to scale as well. So you need to also know the value per lead or the value per sale. And you can also attribute it back to the ad set or campaign that it came from. So we're going to talk about that next week. So let's say you have an opt-in for your business and it shows you're losing money in the first 2 days. Well, what about over 4 months? How much is that opt-in worth? For example, one of my first businesses, SourceWave, I tracked using ghetto-rigged technology at Improvely, that every single opt-in that came in my business over 6 months was worth $25 to me. I was paying $5 to $7 per lead. 5x ROI over 5 months. It's like investing in a crypto when you know the price is only going to go up. So that's another way that's very important when it comes to scaling, okay? And you have to keep that in your mind too. If you're not doing that, you're operating on a very low-level ad buyer brain level, okay? Not insulting you, but every single major business, they look at like the multiple month ROI on ad costs. They don't look at like the same week or something like that. They say, all right, how much is a book sale worth to us over 6 months? Like Grant Cardone, for example, he's going to sell you a book for $7, but he knows if you buy that book, you're probably on average going to spend another $42 or $50 with him. So he's cool paying $20 if you buy that book. He's printing money at that point. If you're spending $20,000 a day on that campaign, you're making $40,000 back over 5 months. That's an insane investment. It's a better investment you can make anywhere on planet Earth. So that's something you need to focus on as well when you're scaling, which again, you don't even have a prayer of seeing that in your ad managers. Can HYROS be used for custom events, sales call outcomes? There is a way to ghetto rig that in there right now. We're actually going to be designing that in Q4. I'm working with one of our top agencies, Client Accelerator, by Mike Boutemple. Sorry, I've always butchered your last name, Mike, if you're watching it. But that's coming, and so you'll be able to, when calls come in, you'll be able to plug in an integration via Zapier that will mark it as bad or good, and you could, of course, always send that in there. You can also easily do that by just changing the thank you page URLs. But in my opinion, I just don't think, I just think that's just overkill, you know? And guys, it's in my best interest to overcomplicate ads and tell you that you need this complicated thing that only HYROS does. I'm telling you things that I would use to scale. And I'm not the world's greatest ad runner, but I have built 2 8-figure businesses off of ads. So If you're past that point, you already know what works for you. You don't need my advice. If you're not at that point yet, keep it simple. Can we export all our leads in one click to use as warm audience layers? You can actually just set up audiences to be built from HYROS automatically. Yeah, so Wayne, you ask, how do you manage reporting on customer journey? So look, you need to understand the purpose of HYROS. The purpose of HYROS is to tell you where your sales came from, where they were generated from, and give you the LTV of your customers. That's what we're extremely good at, and that's what we're the best in the world at. If you look at any customer journey softwares out there, for example, like Segmentrix, okay? People want me to sit around and talk shit about Segmentrix all day. They're really good at showing you like your customer funnels and journey. They're terrible at showing your ad ROI and attribution. When you're building a software, you got to focus on what's the big problem you solve. The big problem that HYROS solves is your ad attribution. You know, you want to see how people are moving through your funnels and what emails they're clicking, like what parts of the funnel they're laid out. Get a funnel tracking software, you know? And that's not me saying we're not going to solve your problem. It's me saying like, look, we got to pick the problem we're going to solve. You're paying us at HYROS to fix your ad attribution and to be the best in the world at that. We're not going to be the best in the world at funnel journey measurement. We're not going to be the best in the world at whatever else people want to see, you know? And so if we're not the best in the world at attribution, you're not going to be our customer, period. You're not going to use us anymore. If there's someone else who's better at attribution, yeah, the funnel journey is awesome. You'll get a funnel journey company and you'll go to the best attribution company. Okay. And so at HYROS, our main objective and the thing I think about is how do I make your ad attribution more accurate and give you usable data you can use with your ads to make a better ROI on your ads. That's literally the only thing I think about. When it comes to your funnel attribution, what's going on there, that's going to show you to optimize your funnel and your business and everything that's going on inside there. There's no problem tracking that stuff. There's plenty of funnel trackers that do that just fine. Just fine. And those funnel trackers will never give you proper attribution. Okay. And so what you're going to do and what 90% of customers are going to do is they're going to go and use the best funnel tracking software. We can make a funnel tracking software inside of HYROS. You want to be the best in the world. Thus, you're not going to pay us for it consistently. You're going to go use someone else. Okay. Same exact reason why a lot of people use ClickFunnels for their landing pages, but they use a different checkout software. Does it benefit ClickFunnels to have a checkout in that situation? It doesn't, because they're not the best in the world at the checkout. So that's why I'm not particularly super focused on that, because you can go get a funnel tracking software for $49 a month. They're cheap. You can get it like that, you know? That's not going to keep you paying us. And so that's the logic behind that. Yeah. So I'm not sitting here saying like, no, your problems and you as a customer don't matter to us. The problem that we solve for you is your attribution. And so we're going to be the best in the world at that. And that's how we're going to keep you as a customer. If I go and solve your funnel tracking problem, but it causes us to not solve your attribution problem, you're going to leave us. Okay. And so we can only work on so many things and keep our focus on so many things. And so we're going to focus on the problem that we promise to solve for you and keep getting better at that, because that's the value we deliver as a software. And that's why you pay us. You don't pay us to track your funnels. Okay. So that's the logic behind it. It's not that your problems aren't important. It's that you gave us an initial problem, and that's the problem we're going to focus on. Quentin Archer said, how can we set up audiences using HYROS? Just go to the docs and type in audiences. It's right there. Just go type in audience in the doc. not to be like blunt, but it's just like right there. Or you could just go to Google and type in HYROS custom audiences and it will pop up too. Any other questions, guys? Before I hop off, I see the questions slowing down. Why does optimizing the HYROS pixel sometimes work well and other times no results come from using it? It's pretty simple. If you have an existing pixel with like 5,000 sales on it, if a fresh pixel is not going to behave the same way, you're going to need to send in more data to it, you know? And I think people plug in the pixel thinking they're going to get 50% more sales. you're going to see like a 10%, 15% increase on it. And that's absolutely huge in the broad scale of things. But it's not going to give you like a day or night different thing, especially if you have a pixel that has 10,000 customers on it. There's many improvements that you can make with HYROS. You make 10% improvements in your scale. You make 10% in savings. You make 10% in your AI optimization. Combine those all together, that's a massive effect on the business. Okay, but I don't. If you're having trouble with it, I would focus on the savings and scaling part first, and you're going to get phenomenal results. I also just think people don't know how to use it well enough, which is why we have an AI course releasing next week by Dan Ryder and Ryder Media that's going to break down literally every time to use the pixel for different types of business models. So you have a call funnel, he's going to break that down. You have an e-com funnel, he's going to break that down. You have a webinar funnel, he's going to break that down. Okay. Is HYROS able to track landed on checkout conversion accent? As I'm currently using Google, but it's not very accurate. I don't know why it wouldn't be accurate, because that's a very easy last click situation to check. You know, the thing that Google and Facebook have trouble tracking is when people are bouncing around the internet and come back and buy something, or move between multiple pages and buy something. Usually that viewed checkout, if it's relevant, that happens very quickly in the first click, you know? And I'm not going to tell you to run your business, but the conversion data on viewed checkout conversion action isn't going to be that useful. It's going to be the purchase that's really going to move your store forward. Just off of my 2 cents. You can optimize around the whole range of things, but you want to optimize for the people that give you money. You know, for a call funnel, I can optimize around calls all day that don't spend money. That's why I optimize around ROI. I optimize around the purchases. The course will be released next week. Dan's actually finishing up all today. Should we be sending the HYROS data back to existing pixel? With the features releasing next week that stop duplication of purchase events, yeah, you should be. You really should be. You mentioned writing a copy for broader audiences. I write a 6-week program and get broke free seekers. Well, I mean, you got to think about who your target audience is. I mean, people that want to, the general market of people that want to lose weight is everybody on planet Earth. And you have to be reasonable here, man. The average American income is $45,000. After taxes, about $30,000. Okay, so that means if a person at $30,000, that means they're making $2,600 a month on average. That's the average American. Average rent, maybe $1,000 per month. All right, so they got $1,600 left over. All right, let's talk about food. All right, they got like $1,200 to $1,100 left over. All right, let's talk about like any other expenses, gas, whatnot, $300 something, $400 something. So the average person has about $800 left to spend a month, if that. Okay, so other than that, past that, the rest of it is like the top 10% of America. You know, anybody that's making $100,000 a month or anything like that, they still don't have that much disposable income. So you really, if you're in the weight loss niche, you're marketing to people, primarily the mass of America that doesn't have much money. So if you want to scale your business up, you're going to have to optimize around that. You know, if you're selling $1,000 workout courses, okay, well, you're going to only be selling probably to people that are making like $200,000 a year. Ain't nobody who's making $30,000 a year giving you $1,000 for your workout course. Okay. So you're going to have to lower your ad targeting to the top 10% of America, top 5% maybe. What's that going to do? It's going to make your scale a lot lower. So you're going to need to target these people exclusively, and you're going to need to use that in your wording and make it, and you're going to need to also make yourself seem like the Ferrari of working out. Because these people have other options. They could go and pay someone at a gym to personally train them for way less than that. So you got to think. You also got to think about your market. You got to think about your market and what you're doing. There's a reason the high ticket in fitness is like $297, and so maybe you should also be pricing around that point as well. I just see a lot of coaches that are selling like $2,000 workout programs and trying to scale it up. And I'm no master of the workout niche, so don't ask me. I just think you're really dreaming if you're thinking you're going to scale it up, because I mean, weight loss is a problem for the masses. So I don't know. But you're gonna have to figure it out in your own business. I could be totally wrong on that front. Any other questions, guys, before I hop off? I don't see any more questions coming in. So, and actually we're probably at the top of the hour. So I'm going to post this in the group, and I think that's all we're going to do. I think that's going to be it. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being a HYROS customer. We'll be doing this again next Thursday. You're already signed up if you are signed up for this one. So I will see you next week on Thursday. And if you guys like this, give some positive feedback in the group, and we'll do maybe even 2 a week. So that's it, guys. Take it easy. Don't do anything crazy. Stay out of jail, and I'll see you guys in the group. And the recording right now, we'll post this